so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
Raising the eyebrows over there.
We are live.
All right, guys. Welcome to another FPVFC Town Hall. Thank you for joining us this evening. We got some fun stuff, some interesting things happening. We got new acquisition of one of our favorite partners. However, we'll start off. Let me get my windows up here.
Yeah, start off with sharing your screen.
Yeah, I got to do that, don't I? Hold on. I forgot to break this out. I'm failing at life over here.
Yeah, I suppose if we really wanted to, we could do this before we started the live stream.
You know, we probably could. And now I'm fumbling. So, hey, there you go. All right. So first up, if you've been watching the Olympics, the Winter Olympics in Italy, you might have caught sign of quite a few FPV drones. They're using them extensively in the coverage. I first saw them, I think it was like the second night of the Olympics, and there were I think it was the snowboard. I don't know the exact names of the sports, but the snowboard jumping and tricks and all that cool stuff. Apologies, not a big sports person, but Olympics are always fun for me. And you could see the drones flying right behind the competitor and capturing that footage, which is really cool. So
yeah, like in that screenshot there, the drones following the bobsled stuff. Like as a pilot, that one kind of was impressive because, like, imagine flying down this narrow little bobsled track at ridiculous speeds and not interfering with an Olympic athlete and not hitting the cameraman on the side and the overpasses. There are a lot. And how do you get out of that track and fly back to yourself? And pretty crazy. Yeah. Although if you do crash, all your parts will probably be at the bottom of the track.
True.
Yeah, look like the FPV drones they were using were 04 units.
Yeah, they are actually.
Yeah, I don't know if this article goes into it, but Oscar Liang's got a good article where he's got pictures of the drones and talks about the DJI components and that for the live broadcast feed, they're actually using a different camera, a second camera set, on the top there.
Yeah.
There it is.
So I'll go through this real quick. That's a picture of the drones they're using, or one of the drones, built by Dutch Drone Gods. So it says they're using up to 15 first-person view drones across venues at the 2026 Winter Olympics, marking the first deployment of the technology at a Winter Game. The organization introduced FPV drones to the Olympic coverage at Paris 2024 for mountain bike events. Your favorite, Dan. The drones are operating in both outdoor and indoor venues across multiple winter sport disciplines. Olympic Broadcasting Systems is using the technology in alpine skiing, freestyle skiing, snowboarding, ski jumping, speed skating, biathlon, and sliding sports. Mark Wallace, OBS Chief Content Officer, said the visual strategy for Milano Cortina 2026 centers on what the organization calls movement in sports, which the drones help present to viewers. It's about capturing the motion of the athlete, not just the result, but the sensation of speed, the tactics, the technique, and the environment in which they compete. FPV drones are tracking athletes at speeds approaching competitive pace without cable or ground-based constraints. In alpine skiing, the drones follow athletes down courses to capture line choice, compression absorption, and the technique through turns. For freestyle skiing and snowboarding, the drones track athletes over jumps to show height, rotation, and amplitude. FPV drones, small agile drones that can follow athletes down the field of play, will be used extensively in alpine skiing, snowboarding, and freestyle skiing. Wallace said, we're even testing them for sliding sports such as bobsleigh and luge, and remarkably for speed skating indoors. In ski jumping, drones follow athletes down the in-run and through takeoff before separating mid-flight to show body position and distance. In sliding sports, the drones follow athletes racing at speeds up to 90 miles per hour through ice tracks, moving in and out of curves to convey speed and the precision required to maintain racing lines. The drones are a game changer because it gives you a different perspective, said Molly Solomon, executive producer and president of NBC Olympics. You're sitting on the back of a skier. I think most of all, it's the speed and the drop. It's funny. We showed some footage to some of the U.S. alpine skiers this fall, and they said that it's the closest we've ever seen to allowing the viewer to understand what we're doing. Dutch Drone Gods developed a custom FPV broadcast drones for sliding sports, which uses similar rig as those deployed across other sports. The 2.5-inch configuration weighs 243 grams and reaches speeds of up to 60 miles per hour with a flight time of up to 5 minutes.
So does Italy have the same, like if it's under 250 grams, there are less regulations?
I think it's very similar.
I assume that
for sure
that limit matters, and that's why it's 243 grams.
Yep.
Possibly. Yeah.
EASA also has a 250-gram limit or threshold.
It says the drone uses a dual camera system to separate pilot control from broadcast output. The broadcast feed runs through a Proton Cam full HD mini camera and a Domo Pico transmitter, which delivers footage to production teams with 300 to 400 milliseconds of latency. The pilot operates using a separate DJI O4 air unit that provides a feed at 15 to 40 milliseconds of latency. Different teams operate drones ranging from 2.5-inch to 7-inch configurations for other sports, with most using similar transmitter and camera systems. The drones use an inverted blade design with propellers mounted beneath the frame rather than above, a configuration that enhances aerodynamic efficiency during flight curves. Each FPV drone team consists of 3 specialists, a pilot, a director, and a technician. The team communicate via a dedicated channel and maintain contact with the director in the outside broadcast van and technical crew. For outdoor operations, pilots work from elevated positions to maintain line of sight with the athletes. A heated support cabin serves as the operational base, containing a battery charging station, spare drones, receiver, and dual monitors for tracking drone signal integrity and race development. The batteries used in the drones require replacement after approximately 2 athlete runs. Teams can adjust video filters in real time to adapt to weather and light condition. Jonas Sandell, an FPV drone operator who competed on the Norwegian Ski Association's B national team in ski jumping, founded a production company that developed methods for capturing ski jumping through FPV drones. Watching teammates in training, I realized the athlete's view of the flight was the most thrilling angle, Sandel said, noting his athletic background informs operational decisions during broadcasts. Every athlete accelerates and flies. Oh, go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, yeah, it does help if you are like, you don't have to be a pro in the sport, but if you're an amateur in that sport, at least you have a little better idea of how to capture it and show that athlete's view to other people. And you have a better idea of what that athlete's going to do and predict their movements and, just get a better
100%.
Overall shot of everything.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think having that background knowledge just makes so much more sense if you're going to be filming that. It says every athlete accelerates and flies differently. Sandell said, if you don't understand those subtleties, you miss the moment or you outrun them. For Milano Cortina 2026, Sandell said the goal is to convey the experience of ski jumping, how fast, intense, extreme ski jumping really is, Sandell said. Seeing an athlete soar 140 meters through the air on 2 skis is incredible. I want audiences to experience that sensation as if they were in the air too. Drones have been a part of Olympic broadcasting since Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games. For these games, OBS has deployed traditional hovering drones alongside FPV units for scenic and transitional coverage. Many of the venues, you're going to have to excuse my pronunciation, Stelvio, Tofane, and Anterselva are iconic, almost sacred within their disciplines, having hosted generations of champions, Wallace said. The organization's visual strategy also includes what Wallace described as real-time 360-degree and stroboscopic replays, cinematic cameras, and behind-the-scenes access. OBS introduced an AI-driven stone tracker for curling that displays trajectory, speed, rotation, and timing. Alpine ski coverage includes team radio communications between coaches and athletes with translations. All drone flights operate under coordination with the Italian civil air authorities, prefectures, and police. OBS also coordinates with international sports federations, venue management, and production teams. Flights take place in controlled areas with drones maintaining distance from athletes, spectators, and restricted zones. All operations are received pre-approval from relevant authorities. Certified professionals pilot the drones following aviation regulation at venues. So,
yeah, this
pretty
is just
cool.
Such a great, drones for good and drones positive.
Mm-hmm.
When we can, plus so many people saw it. This, like previous events, sporting events, we're able to say, yeah, that's what an FPV drone is. That's how fast they fly. That's what it's like. I recognize the name Dutch Drone Gods. This is the same firm that made the high-speed drone that taped Max Verstappen in his Red Bull Formula One car. So these guys, much like Zipline, they're clever in that they design to purpose, and so hats off to them for doing that, as well as the great skill and the good skill flying these things that so close to the athletes and no injuries.
And in that picture, he's not even wearing gloves to keep his hands warm.
Tough guy.
It must not be really cold there.
Dan, you'd fit in.
It's Italy. It's Italy.
All right. So absolutely drones for good. Now drones for not so good. So criminal charges sought after more than 30 unauthorized drones over Seahawks parade. Joint state and federal defense team says it spotted at least 30 unauthorized drones in the sky over the Seahawks championship parade last Wednesday and is pursuing charges against a pilot who flew an aircraft into a packed Lumen field. The King County Intercept Team, as it's called, interrupted 8 drone flights and was able to contact 7 of the pilots, according to Kings County Sheriff's Department spokesman. Those pilots immediately grounded the drones and were given warnings. However, the spokesperson says the pilot ignored warnings and operated the drone inside the stadium, despite a FAA temporary flight restriction in the area at the time. The KCSO is now seeking reckless endangerment charges and says federal authorities are seeking other criminal charges and fines. The issue is of heightened concern in advance of the World Cup, and since drones have been used as weapons in the theater of war. Major General Gent Welsh, who commands the Washington National Guard, has been calling for stricter oversight and spending on defense systems. The Trump administration and Congress authorized an additional $500 million to the 11 World Cup host cities for drone defense and alert systems. The KCSO says it has increased defenses and can use Guardian 1 to spot and react to drones in flight.
That's an awful lot of money for 11 locations.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it sure is. And then obviously they throw in KMO News applied for and was granted a waiver from the FAA to fly a drone during the parade. Don't do stupid things.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy. So, all right. Just a little side note here of an article. This is more of a press release than anything, but indication that battery manufacturing is coming to the United States. So this is a good deal. KULR, or Cooler Technologies Group, and Hylio have entered a joint collaboration to produce NDAA-compliant battery systems for agricultural drones built in Texas. The partnership centers on U.S.-based design and manufacturing to strengthen secure domestic supply chains for drone energy systems. The companies plan to design, prototype, and qualify high-performance batteries for Hylio's unmanned aircraft or aerial systems. Engineering and manufacturing will take place in Texas, reinforcing regional production for advanced UAS platforms. They say domestic NDAA-compliant energy storage is becoming a foundational requirement for advanced unmanned and defense-adjacent systems, said Michael Moe, Chief Executive Officer of Cooler Technology Group. Our joint development collaboration with Hylio reflects a shared commitment to U.S.-based design and manufacturing and positions both companies to support customers seeking high-reliability battery solutions built in Texas. So, good deal in your backyard there, Rob.
Yeah, I had to look this one up. Yeah, so Webster, Texas. Looks like it's a little suburb just outside of Houston.
There you go.
Never heard of Webster. Texas is big, though.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yes, it is.
Drive all day and you're still in Texas.
That's right.
All right. So, also out of Texas, we've got the Texas Attorney General launches new legal action over alleged CCP-connected drone threat. Attorney General Ken Paxton sued Anzu Robotics for misleading Texas consumers about the origin, data practices, and security risks of its drone, which are rebranded products of Chinese drone manufacturer DJI and tied to the Chinese Communist Party. This is the second major lawsuit filed this week against a China-aligned company after Attorney General Paxton sued TP-Link yesterday. The United States government has taken steps to blacklist DJI drones due to their link to the CCP, including concerns that DJI technology enables surveillance, data collection, and potential access by the Chinese government. According to the lawsuit, DJI responded to these restrictions by partnering with Anzu Robotics and using it as a pass-through entity to evade state and federal requirements and continue to sell DJI technology in the United States under a different name. He says, Anzu Robotics products are nothing more than a 21st century Trojan horse linked to the CCP. My office is taking several targeted action against CCP-aligned companies this week to protect people of Texas and stop Communist China's influence in Texas. No company will be allowed to deceive Texans and serve as a pathway for foreign adversaries to exploit American market, access personal data, or threaten our national security.
Okay, fact check on that. Anzu Robotics products are nothing more than a 21st Trojan horse. Wrong.
Yeah.
Anzu products, what they did is they licensed the Mavic 3 firmware. They shipped it a drop to Anzu, and then Anzu split apart the code so that anytime there was a send of information up to any server, it was redirected to Aloft servers. And so the company Aloft worked with Anzu, worked on the code, and so I'm shocked that Attorney General Paxton could have gotten this wrong. My tongue is firmly in my cheek.
No, when he said he doesn't allow companies to mislead Texans, he means nobody but them can mislead Texans.
It's okay for an official to mislead a Texan, but just they don't want corporations doing it. They don't want to be, they don't want to share that space.
Well, I'm just glad somebody's finally found the proof. I want to see the
show the receipts.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So speaking of Aloft, Versaterm integrates Aloft to simplify FAA authorization for public safety drone operations. Loft's FAA-approved USS capabilities are now integrated into Versaterm's DroneSense platform for streamlined drone management. The combined platform enables real-time airspace authorization, reducing delays and manual workflows for public safety drone missions. This acquisition supports faster deployment during emergencies while maintaining strict regulatory compliance. Versaterm has acquired Aloft, an airspace intelligence and flight authorization provider, in a move aimed at streamlining drone operations and regulatory compliance for public safety agencies. The acquisition brings Aloft's Federal Aviation Administration approved unmanned service supplier capabilities directly into DroneSense by Versaterm, allowing agencies to manage drone missions, airspace authorizations, and compliance requirements within a single operational platform. Aloft provides real-time airspace intelligence and powers the majority of Lance authorizations in the United States. According to the company, Lance enables approved operators to receive near real-time authorization to fly in controlled airspace, a frequent requirement for public safety drone missions. So it looks like Aloft finally got acquired. I know they were under another acquisition before, and that fell through. But it looks like,
as we've talked about a lot, John Hagrains and the Aloft company has been great friends to recreational. So I'll be asking John to ask him to please, hopefully, air aware and air control will be free for use for recreational. And so good product and great company, great bunch of people. They do a lot for us behind the scenes as well as in front of the cameras. So appreciate these folks.
Yeah, 100%. And that was my biggest concern. I was like, are we still going to get this for free?
I'll ask. I'll ask.
Yeah, so. All right. SpaceX to compete in Pentagon contest for autonomous drone tech. So Elon Musk, SpaceX, and his wholly owned subsidiary XAI are competing in a secret new Pentagon. It's not that secret, Jesus. Pentagon contest to produce voice-controlled autonomous drone swarming technology, Bloomberg News reported on Monday, citing people familiar with the matter. SpaceX, XAI, and the Pentagon's Defense Innovation Unit did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and Reuters could not independently verify the report. So Texas-based SpaceXI recently acquired XAI in a deal that combined Musk's major space and defense contractor with the billionaires, entrepreneurs, artificial intelligence startup. It occurred ahead of SpaceX's planned initial public offering. Musk companies are reportedly among a select few chosen to participate in the $100 million prize challenge initiated in January, according to the Bloomberg report. The 6-month competition aims to produce advanced swarming technology that can translate voice commands into digital instructions and run multiple drones. Musk was among a group of AI and robotic researchers who wrote an open letter in 2015 that advocated a global ban on offensive autonomous weapons, arguing against making new tools for killing people. U.S. Defense Secretary last year outlined a new strategy to accelerate drone development and deployment by aiming to cut bureaucracy and boost domestic drone manufacturing. I was wondering when SpaceX was going to get into the drone game. It seemed inevitable, but it took them a while. I figured they would have been in this a lot sooner. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm sure, Dave, you could explain more how these two private companies merged and how it's I don't know. I've read some articles about how it's just like shuffling fake money around the way that
I cannot imagine being a SpaceX person. You're higher up in the company, you're making your financial numbers, and then they decide to bring in AXI, and they are loaded with debt. So all of a sudden, your financials are completely underwater for the year. It's just a disaster, and you have to carry this company that just loses money. So, it's financially and from a corporate governance perspective, what a mess. I don't get it. I understand why they want to move the two technology teams together, but the way they did it, it'll be ugly. And I wouldn't be surprised if a number of SpaceX people just leave and go elsewhere, like maybe over to Jeff Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure adding voice command to a swarm of drones is just going to be perfect every time with no issues whatsoever.
Yeah, especially with South African accents.
Or, a stutter.
Oh boy, it's gonna be fun.
All right, this is pretty cool. I wish I could attend this one of these years, but Micro Drone Race returns to the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force, February 20th through the 22nd. We've talked about this probably every year it's occurred, I think, but at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, fast, high-energy micro drones will take over the Korean War Gallery when the Micro Drone Race returns to the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. Families, aviation fans, and anyone curious about drones are invited to watch as contestants navigate a challenging indoor course in and around aircraft and artifacts. Spectators will have multiple ways to follow the action, including large screens showing the race up close and several designated viewing areas around the course. Visitors can also enjoy real-time pilot's eye views from the drones as they speed through turns, gates, and obstacles. Organized by the Cincinnati Quad Racers, the annual event brings pilots from around the world to compete in qualifying rounds and head-to-head heats throughout the weekend. In addition to the racing, visitors can explore interactive STEM experiences from the Engineers Club of Dayton and Sinclair College focused on flight and drone technology. A race course weaves around standout collection pieces in the Korean War Gallery, including a C-124 Globemaster Old Shaky and the F-82 Twin Mustang, giving visitors a unique way to experience the gallery while enjoying an exciting live event. The Engineers Club of Dayton will present an exhibit highlighting the evolution of flight and drone technology, including a radio-controlled flight simulator, early guidance systems, and mechanical components, and how these innovations connect to modern drones through sensors and GPS technologies, along with a look at the history of simulation at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. Sinclair College will offer hands-on activities focused on unmanned aerial systems, including interactive drone simulators that teach the fundamentals of flight and drone technologies. So 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. if you're going. Admission and parking are free. So pretty cool.
Definitely. Right,
Tiny
Pat.
whoops.
Right, Pat. Definitely on the bucket list, along with the Curtis Wright Museum up in upstate New York. And there's another micro drone race. I think it was this past weekend. Whooptopia, I think, was happening.
Yeah, I think so.
Doing that inside work, and there's another the Northeast Championships are coming up middle of March up in Syracuse, New York.
All right, last but not least, we have our drones for good.
Oh, do you want me to pop in with before you do the drones for good? You want me to mention?
Yeah, we can end on this. Yeah, let me cut my feed here.
Okay, there so I just want to, so Justin of Drone Camps said, hey, asked if we had heard about the DAA update. So what he meant was that the NDAA had a bill inserted into it at the last minute. It was Senate 3481 by the fine Senator Gary, where's your name of, there he is, Gary Peters of Michigan. And what they did is they created this bill, and the intent of the bill is to expand the authority to use counter UAS technologies to state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement and correctional agencies. And they did it without any discussion in committee, no discussion on the floor. They just jammed this bill into the NDAA and passed it into law. So there, it's sections. The NDAA comes in at a svelte 3,499 pages, and sections 8602 to 8606 are the relevant sections that are very close to the Senate 3481. So what's important to us on this? It's possible that what they're talking about will expand to the recent FAA NOTAM FDC 64375, also tenderly known as the ICE NOTAM, which has been rewritten, and the ICE NOTAM not mixing it up with this one, but the NOTAM and TFR says that you cannot fly within 3,000 feet laterally or 1,000 feet vertically from a DHS, ICE, CBP, or FBI mobile asset. And so that's a huge issue. Lots of complaints to the FAA. The FAA has been great working with us as well as other organizations, and they are promising an update.
Yeah, so they've told you or told us that they have an update but it's not out yet, right? We haven't seen anything.
Correct. Yeah, and talk to them again today. Yes, it's so it's in their communications organization. It's been approved, and so we hope to see that over the next very short period of time. So basically, this this update or part of the law or act does extend the authority of who can use counter UAS. It also kicks the fines way up in terms of what the criminal violations are for violating these rules. Now, one possible area that is beneficial to us is that there are significant violations, the civil fine of up to $100,000 per violation for unauthorized counter UAS actions. So if you knowingly engage in an action without federal coordination and you take out a drone in the sky, you can be subjected to up to a $100,000 fine. So that we've been lamenting to the FAA about a lack of protection and drones getting shot out of the sky. There's Rob was describing to us. There is already training for law enforcement for this activity, but it's worrisome to me that they could tie this into a mobile asset, and I'm hoping they don't. But they could say that, hey, there's a TFR, you're not supposed to fly there, and take our drones out of the sky. That's effectively what this enables, is local authorities, local and state authorities, as well as tribal, to go ahead and use counter UAS to use either kinetic or radio technologies to take drones out of the sky.
Yeah, it really seems like there's a bunch of people out there that really want to shoot drones out of the sky.
Yes.
Want it to be illegal for them to do so.
Yes. Well, yeah, not so legal. You better be. It's big fines if so. Definitely don't want to be that guy with your 12 gauge. Rob, anything you wanted to add on this in terms of what's going on within law enforcement?
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess fly around, find out, right?
Yeah, maybe fly around with a beater, that older drone first.
So no, I think there's a lot of questions that still have to be answered, and everybody's working through all of those questions. So it's a capability that's much needed to protect domestic assets, but it's got to be used responsibly. I've been an advocate for it all along, but it has to have guardrails, it has to have bumpers. We have to make sure that people are doing it the right way, safely, ethically, legally, and not endangering people.
Yep.
Yeah,
and there was part of the stipulation is that training and then reporting should commence within 180 days. The effective date of this legislation is 30 days from the date of the NDAA. So this is in effect right now. So not great news, not terrible. And as if it's utilized sensibly, that would be great. And also separately on the 64375 NOTAM, as soon as we get an update, we'll share that broadly. And we hope that it's significantly different and is not as repressive as the current writing. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Alex, you got anything for us tonight, buddy?
I'm not sure if we noticed it or not, but There was the FAA updated AC 91-57 Charlie and replaced it with Delta. That was last year, but I just noticed today when I was looking at it. And they changed some language in there for that advisory circular, but I don't know how much has changed. Advisory circular 91-57 Charlie, the advisory circular for recreational drone pilots, that was updated last summer. I'm not sure if we saw that then, but they made some changes in the language for it, particularly in defining a visual line of sight. So visual line of sight update it's the definition to including being able to observe the airspace around you instead of just seeing the aircraft.
Interesting. All right, pulling it up now just so I can see.
Yeah, now there's a Delta version to replace Charlie.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, got it. Cool. We'll take a look at that. See if there's anything groundbreaking in that, but cool. Dan, anything for us?
No, the only thing I was paying attention to was the drones in the Olympics for the most part, and we covered that at the very beginning. So got that all taken care of.
They were cool. Like as soon as they came out, I'm like, "There's a drone behind that snowboarder."
Yeah, I had people coming up to me at work. Did you see the drones chasing the people in the luge and the snowboarders and skiers?
Yeah.
First thing my mom asked me was, "Do I know any of the pilots?"
Yes, you know everybody, Alex. That's hilarious. I love that.
And then when I was skiing on Sunday, some of the people skiing were talking about it, and so that was fun to overhear.
Yeah, and it's neat. I like when people do that and they notice that, because I feel like a lot of times, especially in the last couple of years, drones have been like, "Ooh, big scary," and it's like, no, big cool, right? And
exactly.
Totally.
So I love the little bit of normalization that brings, right? So, all right, Rob, you got anything for us, buddy?
The only thing that I have, I posted a link in the chat. I've been out of the loop for a couple of weeks, so I don't know if y'all covered this, but the FAA published the drone enforcement actions from 2025. So I thought it was really interesting. Have y'all covered that last show?
We have not.
No, I'll go ahead and pull it up here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I'm a big advocate for education, because education is going to be the foundation of compliance for all laws. So I think it's really important to read through and learn, where other people have made mistakes. So, but essentially, the FAA, they list a summary of the major enforcement actions. They took 8 enforcement actions against remote pilots in 2025. Pretty egregious violations, like hitting a paraglider, the drone light show that struck the kid and their little girl had to have open heart surgery. The guy that flew the drone over the NFL game in Baltimore, we know that's a no-no. And then somebody flew near restricted airspace in Mar-a-Lago. So it's all pretty egregious violations, but I thought the fines that were listed was also very interesting.
How did the one in Mar-a-Lago cost $1 extra over the one at the music festival?
Oh, maybe state and local tax. I don't know.
It had to be the biggest fine.
Well played, Dave. That's the best line of the evening.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, but it's it's interesting. It's interesting seeing seeing the magnitude of some of the fines. Even the Super Bowl. That guy, he picked up nearly a $15,000 fine. So it's critical. I know most people that are in this community, like we all stand for what's right and what's legal. But it's really important that we make sure that we're following and being compliant and checking those TFRs, checking those NOTAMs, so we don't end up in a situation like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Propeller safety, battery safety, airspace authorization. Get the airspace authorization, know where you're going to fly, know if there's a TFR in the area. It's getting much more important.
100%.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Right. Well, welcome home. Glad to have you back. I'm
happy to be back.
In a good home, I'm sure. Being on the road is always fun, but it can be exhausting, and it's tough to be away from home.
Agreed.
All right, let me get my last thing up here. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up. I got to remember that we want to wrap up on these and not, just me power through the news like I usually do. So I'll remember for next time, maybe. No promises. So this takes place in Wyoming. The Teton County Sheriff's Office on January 28th and 29th used a drone donated to the county by an anonymous patron to help Chateau County searchers find a missing child. Teton County became involved in an ongoing search in Chateau County near the Teton County border late on January 28th. A cold, dark night with temperatures in the upper teens, 15-mile-per-hour wind, and snow still on the ground. An interview with the Acantha deputy Shane Dean of Fairfield said Teton County dispatcher Tierney Troy received an administrative message on the Criminal Justice Information Network that a 10-year-old boy living with his parents on rural property had gotten into a disagreement with his family and left the home on foot. Boy, that must have been a really upset 10-year-old. The boy was not clothed appropriately for the temperatures and had been reported missing to the Chateau County's office at about 10:39 p.m. after he'd been gone for about 90 minutes. Chateau County Sheriff Justin Smith organized a search with a canine unit and about 14 officers and community members searching for the child. Troy, noting the location, contacted deputies Eric Carson in Dutton and Dean in Fairfield. Carson responded in mutual aid immediately, and Dean got approval from Chief Deputy Mark Grove to get the drone and a pair of infrared binoculars from the office in Chateau and head east. The drive took about 90 minutes, and Dean kept hoping to hear via his radio that the child had been found. Dean said he staged the drone near the child's home in an area that includes farms, fields, abandoned outbuildings, creek beds, ponds, trees, and brush. It took him about 10 minutes to get the drone up, Dean said, and his first flight lasted only 10 minutes as the cold affected the drone's batteries. He did not find the boy in his first flight. He brought the drone back to the ground, changed its batteries, and sent it up again about 30 minutes later. This time, he researched an area around a creek bed, which was also being swept for a second time by a canine rescue dog and searchers on foot. The time was about 2 a.m. on January 29th. On the second flight, I changed tactics. I sent the drone straight up into the air about 200 feet and began scanning with the zoom on the infrared across the fields. As he maneuvered the drone, he watched a small control pad video screen looking for telltale white marks that would indicate body heat. We noticed one little white pixel that was not in this area before, and I'd scanned the area before already. With this little boy in the cold, the heat signature was already reduced. He used the radio to direct Sheriff Smith to the dot, who emerged out of the darkness to run to Smith as the sheriff called his name. Rescuers immediately got the boy in a heated vehicle and turned him over to Chateau County ambulance crew. Eventually, he was taken to Benefi's in Great Falls for treatment of minor injuries and exposure. Dean said the boy had been outside of his home for about 4 hours by the time he was found around 2 a.m. He was not very far from his home, but had become disoriented in the darkness. It was an amazing feeling when I heard Justin Smith come over the radio. I think his exact words were, "I got him." Dean said this was his first time the office has been able to use the drone to find somebody. He said he has responded on other search and rescue incidents, but ground searchers in those instances found the missing people before he or Deputy Brandon McDonald could get the drone up in the air. It's an amazing capability. We love to use it. We love the capabilities of it, Dean said. The office has also used the drone to assist fish, wildlife, and parks locate grizzly bears, he said. The DJI Matrice 2 is an industrial-grade quadcopter designed for uses include inspection and mapping. Dean and McDonald are both certified through the FAA as small unmanned aircraft system pilots. Another use of a DJI for good. Holy crap. The DJI Matrice 2 was given to the county by someone who had a family member rescued by Teton County searchers. The drone has daytime and infrared gimbal cameras, can fly up to 3 miles from the controller, and its battery pack lasts 20 to 25 minutes. Under FAA regulations, the pilots must maintain line of sight. Dean said if he sends the drone up to an altitude of 200 feet, he can see for miles.
So who was using the DJI, and are they actually allowed to use DJI?
Looks like
I forget these days what the rules are, is like who can use them or who can't buy them. And
this is Utah, right?
No, Wyoming.
Oh, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Teton, like the Grand Teton Mountains.
Yeah.
They don't care. It's beautiful country. It's also incredibly desolate. I mean, this really is great news that they found this boy. Because oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, when he says he's 90 minutes away, he's probably the closest officer in the area. It's big spaces.
Yeah. So the article goes on for a little bit, but he says he would like to purchase a quick charger that would cut the charging time from 8 hours to 2 to 4 hours, but that would cost $1,500 to $2,000. If it was American made, it'd be $8,000. So just saying. At any rate, I just wanted to share that. That's a great use of a drone. Found a 10-year-old boy and saved him from the elements. That's amazing. So
yeah, that's brutal temperatures.
Now, I want to add something, Josh. Just close out on something that's kind of interesting. A lot of people aren't aware of this, but we got a lot of, aviation nerds and tech nerds that are part of the circle here. There is a nonprofit called techsar.org, and they have a free open source drone image analysis tool that you can use to find anomalies. So when I hear of people searching large areas like that, I think of how they use like Locate as a name brand that costs lots of money. But there's actually free open source image analysis tools out there where these departments can go run these mapping missions, and then instead of the user having to find those pixels looking for that signature, it uses software to find it, and they're solving lots of crimes. Yeah, it's a really cool seeing drones for good and taking the drones for good concept and combining AI capability to further that drones for good capability. It's amazing seeing it all come together. I love it.
That's cool. Say the name of it again, Rob.
TECSAR.
TEX like Texas. Tex SAR, that stands for Search and Rescue. Techsar.org, and it's their automated drone image analysis tool.
Yeah, I almost mentioned this while Josh was reading that article. I don't know if it just didn't come across in the article very well, or if the person doing the search and rescue didn't have a lot of search and rescue training. But I would have expected that they'd have to follow like a certain search pattern, and there's certain guidelines or rules that you usually follow when you're trying to search for somebody, especially if you're flying in the air and do the whole grid patterns and whatnot. And I'm sure that software, Rob, you're talking about, if you do a certain grid pattern and you load those images, then it hopefully very quickly helps you find something.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, because it's so especially thermal searches. Visible too, but thermal particularly. Imagine like an upside down cone, so if you're at the right place in that cone and there's an unobstructed view between your aircraft and your thermal signature, you're going to see them. But the problem is in wooded areas, you have the foliage, you have all this, the green density, maybe not in the wintertime.
And it talks about a creek valley too.
Yeah. You have to be at the right place, the right height, at the right time. So that's why you'll see there's a lot of approaches, but when I do search and rescue, I like to orbit, because when you have that cone pattern, especially in like urban areas moving, across residences, that's where you catch those angles underneath the eaves, underneath the porches, underneath the patios, underneath the greenery, the foliage, the plants, all the places that somebody may be. And the same tactics go, when you're looking for people that want to be found, that need to be found, but also the same people that don't want to be found. So it's one of those things. It is very cognitive on the operator. It's a high cognitive workload on the operator, and it's one of those things that I can tell you. I always like to go back and look at my footage when I find somebody and see how long it took me to find them after they were in the image. It's never immediate. I mean, there's been times where I've searched the same area 2 or 3 times, and I'll go back and then the 4th time it'll hit, because it is hard for the human eye to take everything in unless it's movement on thermal. You will pick up like that, but unfortunately, everybody's not moving. So
that reminds me of like searching for morel mushrooms. you can search and search and search and not see them, but the second you find one, now all of a sudden you see all the other ones that you walked right by that were right there the whole time.
Yeah.
But so like you're trying to find that person and you didn't see him, and then you do, and it's like, why didn't I see it before? It was
How
right
did
there.
I miss that?
Very
Yeah.
interesting. Great real world experience. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, so Texar, TEXSAR for open source image analysis. That's a great bring up, Rob. That's a great thing. So, all right, guys. Well, I think with that, we'll end tonight's broadcast. I appreciate you all for joining. Thank you for being here. And we'll continue doing what we do. Just, because this is what we do. We're a bunch of regulation nerds and drone nerds, and we appreciate all our members and anybody who's involved in the cause. So we'll continue driving that, and we'll see you guys in another 2 weeks. Thanks, guys.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.